There's an unbelievable new poll out from the Huffington Post and YouGov on the legacy of George W. Bush. And if this doesn't depress you, nothing is going to depress you. So they report the following, quote, 80% of Republican voters surveyed say they approve of George W. Bush's tenure as president. 80%. 80%. Let me give you some more details on this. 29%, quote, strongly approve. Strongly approve. 51% somewhat approve. But 85% say that Bush did a good or excellent job of keeping the nation safe. 85% of Republicans say George Bush did a good or excellent job keeping the nation safe. What, are you giving him a fucking mulligan? Are we having a friendly golf round on the weekend here? 85%! 9/11 happened on his watch. He got a memo from his intelligence officials that said, Bin Laden determined to attack within the U.S. And then Bin Laden attacked. And you're going to say, oh, 85%. 85% of them, yeah, he did a good or excellent job keeping us safe. Except for that one time, the biggest attack on American soil ever. Other than that. Well, if he did an excellent job, well then, fuck. Go through all the other presidents. They better have well over 85%. Shit, man. I mean, that Van Buren must have 100% approval rating on keeping us safe. What the fuck are you thinking? They're not thinking. They're not thinking. That's the problem here. I got one more fact here, equally as depressing as the others. GOP voters also say by a 4-point margin, 43% to 39%, so a plurality of GOP voters, that they'd vote for George W. Bush again in 2016 if he were eligible for a third term. That means 80 to 85% of you are just off the fucking reservation, don't give a flying fuck about facts. Don't care. You don't care about facts. Because even if you say, and this is a fair position to say, he made mistakes in office, he didn't do a great job, but I really like him as a person and I thought he meant well. I'm not gonna over the top judge you on that and say, oh my God, you're so incredibly irrational and how dare you. But that's not what they're saying. 80% say he did a good job in office as president. Guys, under him, when he left office, the economy was in fucking shambles. The worst it's been since the Great Depression. We had the Great Recession. We had the subprime mortgage crisis. I mean, the guy wrecked the economy. Obviously, Clinton helped him, and every president post-Reagan helped him with the deregulation and things like that. But he continued down that path. This is a guy who waged 2 wars. Those wars were absolute, utter failures. Blew $7 trillion in Iraq alone when all is said and done, and you account for the interest by the year 2053. $7 trillion he wasted. Under him, radical Islam increased tremendously because just like with the drug war, the policies were so bad that they actually increased drug use. Same thing with the war on terror. The war on terror was so bad, you increased terrorism. I mean, you can go down the fucking list. The economy was an absolute wreck. Our foreign policy was an absolute wreck, even according to your own fucking standards, man. With, the deficits and the debt, that's what conservatives care about. They're fiscal conservatives. He was terrible on that front. He was horrendous on that front. He left President Obama a $1.4 trillion deficit. By the way, Obama's been able to cut that to about $480 billion. And then obviously the national debt he increased to record highs when he was in office. The list goes on and on. You name the area, I will tell you how George Bush was an abject failure according to every objective measure and according to the standards that the Republicans say they care about. Like, for example, what do Republicans say? Well, we don't like private sector jobs. Those are government jobs. We're against those. We don't like public sector jobs. We're against those. We love private sector jobs. That's what they say. Capitalism, private sector, grow the private sector. Do you know how George W. Bush did with his private sector legacy? Net lost 646,000 jobs, according to PolitiFact. 646,000. Now understand, Jimmy Carter was not a very good president when it came to the economy. He net created over 1 million jobs And he was only in office 4 years. Bush was in office 8 years. He lost 646,000 jobs. Again, even according to what right-wingers say they care about, he was a failure. He was a failure by any... When he left office, he had one of the most historic lows in terms of his favorability rating. So back then, everybody knew it. Even the Republicans were like, yeah, this is fucked up. Give them enough time, and what happens? Their emotions get up. Their feels get up. They're like, well, I mean, he tried, and he's our guy. He was on our team, and that's what it comes down to. Fucking tribalism, man. That's what it comes down to. It's that what they accuse the Democrats of doing is what they do. That's what they do. Where they say the Democrats only care about feelings, only care about emotions, they don't look at the facts, they don't care about hard truths. Well, what the fuck is this? What is this? 80% of you say he did a good job, 80% of you. And what was the 85% number again? I gotta read it to myself again here. 85%. He did a good or excellent job keeping the nation safe. Biggest terrorist attack on American soil. And he kept the nation safe. Guys, they don't live in the same world you live in, where you care about facts. When somebody's talking to you and they're making claims, whether it's statistics about something or whatever, you are categorizing it in your mind. Is that true? Is that true? I don't think that's true. That might be true. And you're, okay, is this true, false, true, false, true, false? They don't think that way. Is he on my team? He got an R in front of his name? Ha ha, I'm going to defend him. He got an R in front of his name. Oh, he's got a D? Bad guy. Evil. Bad, bad, bad. 80 to 85% of the Republican Party are out to lunch. I have zero intellectual respect for 80 to 85% of the Republican Party. Everybody has my human respect. You're a human being, and by definition, by default, I understand you have certain needs and, you have feelings and all these things just like everybody else. Everybody can have my human respect. You have to earn my intellectual respect. And based on this, among many other things, but definitely this, 80 to 85% of the Republican Party can piss off. You're bringing the nation down because you're so dense and you're so stupid/ignorant, and you don't care about actually making the country great in terms of objective measures. You just care about tribalism and slogans, which is why you love Trump now, because Trump, without actually laying out a plan to make America great, all he has to do is say, I'm going to make America great. And you go, oh yeah, he's white and he's aggressive and he says shit like that. Good management. I got to vote for him. That doesn't make you smart if you're on that team. That makes you dumb for falling for the generalizations and all the vague concepts and all the bullshit. 80 to 85% of you supporting George W. Bush. You have issues. You have serious intellectual deficiencies.